Respect, lovely people. There is another fire on the mountain. Ibrahim Traore, the leader of Burkina Faso. I thought the guy is only shaking table. In actual fact, the guy has broken the table. What? He has practically broken the table, people. Trust me on that. No wonder the AU and the ECOWAS are furious. Guys, you need to follow or subscribe to the channel to stay connected, you understand? Because in my next video, I'm going to expose what AU and ECOWAS are planning to do against the Sahel. Ibrahim Traore, the leader of Burkina Faso, he said something which I believe every true Africa chat would never pass this video without liking and sharing unless you don't care. And as usual, he spoke in French, but trust me for accurate translation, accurate French translation to English. Respect. Now let's go. He said, the imperialists have only one thing in mind. In their mind, Africa is the empire of slaves. That's how they see Africa. To them, Africa belongs to them. Our lands belongs to them. Everything that there is on our soil belongs to them. And they have never been able to change that mentality up to now. This is completely unacceptable. But how do they do it? Unfortunately, since 1960s, when Africa was given that sham independence, all they have done is to put their servants in charge to protect their interests so that we can continue to feed them. This guy is educated. These servants today, we can call them house slaves. Before I continue, to those who don't understand about house slave or you don't know about house slave, let me clarify it. During the time of slavery, there are two types of slaves. We have house slaves and field slave. Guys, you need to subscribe to the channel. You need to follow the platform. Respect. Understanding house slave history is important to fully grasp the impact of slavery. House slaves were enslaved people who work inside their enslavers' home. They did different jobs to help with daily household tasks. House slaves did jobs like cooking, cleaning, serving meals, and taking care of children. Their work was usually less physically hard than the work of field slave who work on farms. As for the field slave, they are always on the field working hard. They are under the sun. I mean, they do the hard work. They go through hell for the survival of their slave masters. Now, house slaves often live in or near the enslaver's house. Their living spaces were sometimes better than those of field slaves, but they still face harsh treatment and had no freedom. You can clearly see that in our leaders. That's why they keep on disrespecting them. House slaves got better food and clothes than field slaves, but they were also watched more closely by their enslavers. This close contact make them more at risk of physical and knacking abuse. You know what I'm talking about? So it is clear this is why our leaders are always afraid of them and always respond to anything they bring on board. You can now understand why they keep close eyes on our leaders. It is the same system in different versions. On the surface, house slaves seems to have higher status than field slave because of their different jobs. However, they were all still enslaved and treated unfairly. But the treatment of the house slave is much better than the field slave. The relationship between house slave and their enslaved is a little bit tricky. House slaves had close but still an equal relationship with their enslavers and their families. And this relationship were always controlled by the cruel system of slavery. So lovely people, this is the role our democratic leaders are playing today. Akufo-Addo, Tinubu, Fonyasigbe in Togo, Pobia in Cameroon, all of them. They are house slaves working for the slave master to destroy the continent. That is what Ibrahim Traore is talking about. So let's move forward. Guys, you need to follow or subscribe to the channel. Following or subscribing to the channel can only keep you updated. It will never kill you. Respect. Now let's go. He continued, these house slaves have no other reference point than to live like their slave masters, to satisfy their masters and to do everything the master dictates to them. They steal for the master, they plunder our state, bringing everything to the master. And their wealth is kept with the slave master. Now you understand why African leaders keep their money abroad and try to have property up there. The guy is educated. No true child of Africa will watch this video and not like it. I don't believe that. Now let's continue. They do everything to live like the slave master and to always satisfy the master. Whatever the master orders, they execute. Do you know who the house slaves are? Well, let's find out. Let me explain to you who they are. They are those individuals who have no dignity. They have no morals. They have no personality. And the slave master has always been able to identify this individual, and they are always ready to betray their brothers to satisfy their masters. They have betrayed us since independence and continue to this day to betray us for the benefit of their slave masters. These individuals continue against all odds to plunder Africa and have helped the master to plunder Africa. Guys, this is nothing but truth. This is nothing but fire. Respect.